They were born under a red sky that never showed mercy. On the basalt plains of Car 1 Prime, strength was not admired, it was demanded. The predator species known across the Orion Arm as the Raikari raised their young with one unbreakable law: only the strong deserved to live. The cubs hatched in clutches of 12. Only half usually survived the first month. This clutch had 13. The 13th was a mistake. She was smaller than the others by nearly a third. Her hide lacked the thick obsidian ridges that marked healthy Raikari young. Her claws were short, her teeth came in late, and worst of all, she was quiet. No roar, no challenge cries, no instinctive aggression. The caretakers noticed immediately. She won't last. One of them muttered, marking her with a faded orange band. Delayed cull. The larger cubs noticed too. They shoved her away from feeding slabs. They trampled her during sparing drills. They stole the heat stones from her nest ring and left her shivering during the cold cycle nights. She did not fight back. She simply watched. Her eyes wide, pale silver, unusual for her kind, tracked everything. Movements, weaknesses. The Raikari elders saw only what they expected to see: a runt, a burden, a waste of resources. By the 20th cycle, the elders had already begun debating when, not if, to remove her. Then the humans arrived. The Unity Expeditionary Corps had not expected to land on Car 1 Prime. A navigational misjump had forced the human exploration vessel UES Horizon Wake into an emergency descent. First contact between humans and the Raikari was tense. The predators stood nearly 8 feet tall, armored in natural plating, their voices deep enough to vibrate bone. The humans were smaller, softer, and carried technology instead of claws. The Raikari respected only one thing: capability, so they watched. Captain Alina Murano negotiated calmly, refusing to show fear. She spoke of trade, of cooperation, of coexistence. The Raikari High Alpha agreed to allow temporary human presence under one condition. The humans would observe Raikari trials. "If you are weak," the Alpha rumbled, "you will not survive among us. Let your kind learn this." The humans accepted. They did not yet know what they were about to witness. The trial of ascendance began at dawn. Cubs nearing maturity were released into the training arena, an open caldera ringed with jagged stone and old blood. The trial tested hunting instinct, combat skill, and adaptability. The smallest cub was not supposed to participate, but when the gates opened, she slipped through anyway. No one noticed at first. The larger cubs charged forward, roaring, claws scraping stone as automated drones released mechanical prey, fast, aggressive constructs designed to fight back. The smallest cub lagged behind, nearly knocked over in the first surge. She rolled, recovered, and darted to the edge of the arena. The elders scoffed. "She will die quickly," one said. The humans leaned forward, uneasy. Lieutenant Harris frowned. "Why is that one so small?" Captain Murano didn't answer. She was watching the cub. While the others rushed the prey head on, the smallest cub did something different. She waited. She watched the drone's movement patterns, their turn radius, their targeting delay. When a larger cub lunged and missed, the drone countered, hard, throwing him across the arena. The smallest cub flinched. Then she moved. She darted forward, not toward the drone, but toward a broken stone spire half buried in ash. She climbed it clumsily, claws scraping, nearly slipping twice. The elders laughed. Soured. One spat. The drone recalibrated and charged her position. At the last second, she jumped. Not away. Down. She landed on the drone's upper housing, her small weight insufficient to trigger its defensive counterstrike. Her claws, short, yes, but precise, found a maintenance seam loosened by earlier impacts. She tore. The drone collapsed in a shower of sparks. The arena went silent. The humans stared. The Raikari elders shifted, confused. That was chance. One growled. The trial continued. The other cubs grew frustrated. They fought harder, sloppier. 2 were injured badly. 1 was removed from the arena unconscious. The smallest cub avoided direct combat entirely. She scavenged disabled drones, used debris as cover, led predators into ambushes they could not escape. She was not strong. She was smart. By the final phase, only 3 cubs remained standing. 2 were massive, scarred, dominant. The third was her. The final trial was simple. 1 cub would claim the central crest, a raised basalt platform symbolizing leadership. The strongest cub charged immediately. The second followed. The smallest cub limped behind, breathing hard. The elders leaned forward. "This ends now," the high alpha said. "She will be crushed." The strongest cub reached the crest first and roared in triumph. Then the ground gave way. The smallest cub had weakened the support struts beneath the platform earlier, quietly, patiently, using fragments of drone plating. The crest collapsed. The strongest cub fell, stunned and trapped beneath rubble. The second cub froze, confused. The smallest cub climbed onto the fallen crest. She stood. Wobbly, bleeding, but standing. For the first time in her short life, she raised her head and let out a sound. It was not a roar. It was a call. Not of dominance, of endurance. The arena was silent. Then the humans began to clap. At first, softly, uncertain. Then louder. Captain Morano stepped forward. "That," she said clearly, "a survival?" The high alpha stared at the cub. "She is weak," he said slowly. Captain Morano met his gaze. "She's alive!" That night, the elders convened. Tradition demanded the culling of the weakest. But tradition had never faced humans. The smallest cub was brought before the council. She did not bow. She did not challenge. She simply stood. The high alpha approached her, towering, shadow swallowing her small frame. "Why do you fight?" he demanded. She lifted her pale eyes to him. "Because I was not finished," she said simply, in broken trade, speech she had learned by listening to the humans. The chamber froze. A cub was not supposed to learn language that way. The high alpha exhaled slowly. The humans watched, holding their breath. Finally, the alpha turned. "The law says the weak must fall," he said. Then he looked back at the cub. But the law was written by survivors. He struck the stone floor with his staff. "She stays." The decision rippled through the pack like shockwaves. Some protested. Some snarled. But none challenged the alpha. In the cycles that followed, everything changed. The smallest cub trained differently. Humans worked with her, teaching problem-solving, pattern recognition, cooperation. She grew stronger, but never became the biggest. She didn't need to. When a rival pack attacked the border months later, it was her strategy that saved the nesting grounds. When famine struck, it was her planning that stretched resources. When the Rakari finally chose an emissary to represent them to the wider galaxy, they did not choose the strongest warrior. They chose the cub they once ignored. Standing beside Captain Morano at the Galactic Assembly, the former runt looked out over thousands of species. She remembered being pushed aside, ignored, marked for death. And she smiled, just a little, because the galaxy was about to learn what the Rakari had learned too late. Strength was not always loud. Sometimes it waited, and when it moved, everything changed.